before I get into this video, I go over the important things for the Toronto Raptors to do this offseason. Now, as I'm editing this video, I realize I only put things that they guaranteed have. I didn't put any signings they should do. So real quick, I just want to say maybe Richaun Holmes would be good for them, or if they can maybe try to make a trade for Miles Turner or someone like that. I'm not really sure. But yeah, I realized right now that I forgot to add some signings they could make. So I apologize, but I just said it now. Just get a center, a rebounding big, a guy that can, get blocks, get rebounds, and just overall play good defense, because that's one real thing the Raptors lack this year. But let's get right into the video now. That's out of the way. So with the offseason rapidly approaching, there are some teams that stand out on priorities or stuff like that, and the Toronto Raptors have lots of priorities that they need to fulfill this offseason. This is going to be a very interesting season or offseason for the Toronto Raptors, and as you know, if you guys have seen some of my videos, I say in just a few of them that I am a Raptors fan. And in today's video, I'm going to be going over 4 things that the Raptors 4 main priorities, because they have a bit more than most other teams. Like, if you're thinking of the Nets, for example, the Nets don't really have that many priorities. If anything, they're just adding on. But the Raptors have some priorities. So, first thing I want to start off with is the 4th overall pick. Who are the Raptors going to select? So as you're seeing this, I think you're going to see this before the draft. I don't know, I'm making this the day before, but you're going to see this. Oh, also, that's only going to be one picture today because I don't have internet up here where we're staying. But I'm making this whatever, but you're going to see this the day of the draft. So you probably, by the time you see this, know who's getting selected. The Raptors, they need to know who they're going to draft with the 4th overall pick, because they're never here. They're always in the postseason. They're always doing great things. But now they're in the lottery, and not only do they have a pick in the lottery, they have a top 5 pick. So, in Masai we trust, if you guys know, but I think the Raptors should just play it safe, and there are 4 good guys in this draft class, and I think that whoever's up there, Cunningham, Mobley, Suggs, or Green, whoever's up there, they have to take. That's what I think the Raptors should do, but that's for the draft. I'm not really too worried about that, because we've seen Masai in the past with lots of great steals in the draft, and I'm not too worried about that. That's probably a little priority. But this next one is a big priority. It's re-sign Masai. So Masai Ujiri is a free agent, and usually the Raptors sign him right before he expires and heads into free agency. We usually sign him, add him for a couple years, but this year we didn't. And the reason why Masai Ujiri is so important to this team is because he's the one that did it all. We've seen him select hidden gems in the draft like Pascal Siakam, OG Anunoby, and just knowing undrafted guys like Fred VanVleet. And how did he know to pick up Chris Boucher on the Warriors, who looked like a no one? How did he know to trade for Kyle Lowry, who turned out into the greatest Raptor of all time? He's just done so many great things for this Raptors team. I can make a whole video about it. But yeah, Masai Ujiri is a big must this offseason, because I can't really imagine another GM another president on this Raptors team. He's just so important to the team. So Masai Ujiri was number 2 on the priority list. Well, actually, there's no real order. I'm just gonna go by what they need to do. Honestly, this could be honestly the most important thing the Raptors have to do. But number 3 is, I'm pretty sure you guys know this, it's re-sign Kyle Lowry. Now, a lot of people think that Kyle Lowry, the Raptors should not re-sign Kyle Lowry. I'm one of the few people that disagree with this, but to a certain extent. I think that the Raptors, it would be so good if we can re-sign Lowry. I made a video about that actually a long time ago. But I think it would be so good, and I'm not going to go through the whole details and stuff, but just overall, by re-signing Kyle Lowry, you're getting that you're keeping the heart and soul. You're getting a great point guard who's still, he's not even bad. and you have a great leader for the Raptors. I think they would just be very incomplete without Lowry, and I think it'd be great if they re-signed him. Now, that being said, I don't really want to pay him $35 million, $40 million, even like, I would, to keep him, I would say $15 million. It's a stretch, $10 to $15 million. Now, if he's truly loyal to this team, he'll sign no matter what. A sign and trade wouldn't be terrible for Kyle Lowry, and as much as I don't want to see him go, re-signing him would lead to the sign and trade, therefore making that a big priority. So I guess it works out. And the last priority is re-signing Trent Jr. Now, I put this last because the odds of the Raptors getting Trent is very high. He's a restricted free agent, and I don't think overall he's just very underrated. I don't think teams are going to want to pay him too much. So I think the Raptors will get him on a sweet deal. I think whatever team wants him is going to give him a long-term deal. Like some teams, some candidates can be maybe the Mavericks or the Nuggets or the Sixers could be use a nice shooter. But off the top of my head, I don't see those teams paying $50+ million for Trent Jr. As we know, Trent Jr. was not really a key piece because he came to the Raptors after trade deadline knowing that he was going to be a free agent. But he's restricted, and I think the Raptors, if, let's say the Nuggets, for example, they come up, give Trent Jr. an offer under $60 million for 4 years, the Raptors accept that 100%. He's probably worth around the $50 to $60 million over 4 years. I don't know, what is that? $15 million a year, about that. He's worth that. And I think overall the Raptors just have to get him back on the team. And no one's talking about this much, but even if they put him in a sign and trade, maybe, actually that was kind of stupid now that I think about it. So the priorities are the 4th overall pick. By now, you guys know who this is selected, unless you're watching this before the draft starts. So that means you're watching it pretty early. I'm praying right now that in the future I'm looking back at this and being like, we did a good job. They gotta re-sign Masai because he makes all the moves. He's the one that's gonna keep this team intact. They need to re-sign Kyle Lowry just for the mentorship, and even if we put him in a sign and trade, the Raptors still get something out of him instead of nothing, and re-sign Trent Jr. because anyone would love Trent Jr. on their team. But that's gonna wrap up my video, guys. I really hope you enjoyed. Be sure to subscribe, and we will see you in the next video.